Oh, I found out my ex was trash, garbage, muck. Yeah. Alright, so without further ado, let me head straight right into this story time. Oh, I found out my ex was trash, garbage, everything that's bad. Yeah. So some persons might say, so what that makes you? But if you didn't know and you find out, that's two different things. Alright, so let's try to fit this story time in a 10 minutes video or less. Alright, so I was there being my own single self with my son, being a single mother, and doing what I do best as a single mother, not thinking about dating anybody, not thinking about a relationship or nothing of that sort. So I moved into this apartment and with my son, of course, and I was just going to work, coming home, going to work, coming home. So one night I came home from work very late, and while I was coming through the gallery to go into my room, I passed a stranger on the gallery sitting down, but I wasn't studying anything at all or anything like that. So went inside, do my necessary, bathe, change, whatever. About, I think, if I'm not lying, about the same night or the next night, the landlord, because it was an apartment complex, so it's like more than one person live on the building and so forth. So the landlord messaged me and said another tenant saw me and wanted to get to know me. I was like, another tenant just say yes, somebody new, a young man recently moved into one of the apartments and he would like to get to know me. Now, side note, I think that this is a red flag, because now that I know what I know, if a man can approach you as a man and come and tell you what he want to say to you, like hiding behind somebody else to take a message to a potential girlfriend, wife, child mother, that's really, yeah. Anyway, so I was like, who is he, whatever. She proceeded to give me a little bit of information and said she's not a dating coach, so if I want to know more, she could send my number to him or his number to mine, vice versa. So I said, all right, send the number, and she sent my number to the guy. Messaged me, we started talking, nights on top of nights, we started talking and things till him start come over my apartment, talk. Then the rest was history from there. All right, so we live at that place for a while, and then things start to break down, where the landlord start to, like, basically her husband, brother, sister, girlfriend, something like that. It was too much. So we decided that, all right, this is too much. This is more than just a business. This is like a family thing now, and we move. So this time it was me, him. It was him, myself, and my son. We moved together as a family unit. He's not the father of my child. So we move, and we rent somewhere for ourselves now. So we don't have any, so much distraction or whatever. This was still an apartment complex, but it was more, it was more like a unit, family unit than I have my apartment. He has his one. We was together. The first red flags that I saw was like, whenever time we had any disagreement, it was always like me, him, and one of his family member. So it was never like, all right, we have a disagreement as a couple, I would try to work it out and try to, it was always myself, him, and somebody on the phone, because he was always calling somebody and complaining, oh, she do this and she do that and she do me this and da. It was always that constant bickering with somebody, and then me now being the saucy person that I am, I always on the phone and be like, what the if that person doesn't know what you do to me to cause me to behave this way. So when you're calling somebody and telling them that I am doing something, you need to let them know that you do this and this caused my action. Don't just go and tell the person, well, I do whatever. So that was the first red flag. like that childish, yo. Me and you live together, we'll have an argument, and you will call one of your family member wherever them and I tell them about me. That was the first one. You know, we still are going because I say, alright, this can be forgiving. I talk to him about it, I tell him something, don't like it, stop doing it or whatever. He say, alright, I'm gonna stop. It's just because that person and himself is very close and what I said that don't have nothing to do with it. Like when she have her problem, she don't call you. Oh, it's just because you don't hear when we are talking. I said, well, I don't want my business going over to her. If she won't call you and tell you her business, that's between you and, but don't take my business between me and you carry over there. Anyway, that was the first one. One of the other reasons why I realized that he's not the person for me. I'm glad so we break up and I with him one ex-woman literally eat. But know that hate is a strong word and most persons would say rather better you say dislike. But me hate him. Like me hate him. It was there were situations where, as I said, it was an apartment complex. It was like an apartment complex with about 16 different apartments. So you know how big this building is. Like every time we have a disagreement, the whole apartment complex could tell me what we had a disagreement about. Sometimes when I heard the stories, it was like off from the truth. Part of it was true, but by the time it spread around into the apartment complex, when I heard about the story, sometimes it's just a small portion of it is true and majority is made up or whatever them feel them ear to them wall or whatever the situation. That was another big red flag. Like the way this man used to talk, like every single time we have a disagreement, he was always over his top of his voice. And it was I wasn't trying to feel that kind of vibes because you see me, you know, I'm not a pushover. And if you feel like say you are the man and you're more bigger than mine because you are wearing the panty, well, me I go show you say, alright, I me I wear the panty. So you know say if you start with the fuckery, me now go tone down. So it was like a back and forth confrontational argument that escalated to the point where the neighbors heard disgraceful kind of thing. And as I said before, it was always this family member in the back of the story. I influence him, I tell him do this, do that. And I was like, at one point I feel like I was dating him, her, and myself due to how often this man was going to this woman with my name. I mean, I didn't have anything against her, but it was a situation where it was too much for me to accept. I think when I started to have something against that woman is what day I was at work and he called her and tell her something about me and him. And I called him on the phone and she was close by and she presumptuous with her presumptuous self take up the phone and proceeded to address me and try to tell me what she think happened in my relationship and not what actually happened. So I have to put her up in her place and make sure no say whatever him come tell you. You need to come and ask me a question if you want to come inside of the relationship and pass judgment and not just take his side for it and then want to jump down on me because at that time you'll be ready for this star. You understand? But, you know, when I come with him, after we break up and think, I see her a few times in the town and skin up her face and I do the most, but I don't give a fuck because you see, oh God, this is YouTube. I don't care because she don't pay my bills, she don't. You understand? So you can always skin up your face. That's your business. So yes, so those are some of the signs that I saw that led me to say like, nah, to the left, boy, you're a little bit too much for me. And before me lose my cool and you lose your cool and something bigger, major happen, you need to just literally go like, yeah. And yes, that was some of the records. It was so much, guys, that, you know, these are just a few. I'm not saying that I was an innocent person in the situation, but what I'm saying is these things that he was doing was a little bit too overbearing for me to even try and continue to have a healthy relationship with this man. Not only that, this man was a peeping Tom. Yes, people must say peeping Tom, and I mean peeping Tom. This man used to literally, when he know it's soon time for me to come from work, he used to go in the bush, go behind a building, follow behind me. It was too much. It's about time I was coming from work in the night and I'm so hot. I was coming from work in the night and I just literally saw somebody walk out from the bush and when I looked it was him. I don't know what he was doing in the bush or why did he, so this talking behavior was this talking behavior was getting overbearing for me. And so I started to think about, I started to say, I think that I made a mistake coming into this relationship with this man, and I think that it's time for this relationship to end. However, the relationship did not end there, but the relationship ended shortly after these events. So yes, guys, this is how I knew that my ex was toxic. He was all the things that I described in the first part of the video. And I'm not going to say that I was perfect, but if you're dating somebody and you can't get at least 60 to 70% good out of the person, and majority is bad, then you know that that person is not for you. And that was what was happening in my relationship at that time. So as I said, stay tuned, stick on the channel, continue to support me. I know a lot of my viewers and subscribers, haven't really see me on camera much these days, but I'm still here. So guys, remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and help me reach 2K, guys. Stay tuned for part 2, part 3, or part